Welcome to Beyond the Bottom Line, the podcast that goes further than profits and titles to uncover the stories, strategies, and struggles behind true leadership in South Africa. Today, we're honored to feature a remarkable woman whose work in business support is helping reshape the landscape of corporate responsibility and youth empowerment. Today, we have Prebashni Govender from the Michelin Tyre company, South Africa. In this episode, we'll be exploring her journey, the lessons she has learned, and how Michelin is contributing to building a more inclusive and opportunity-rich future in the youth. Thank you. Good afternoon, Prebashni. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Welcome to Beyond the Bottom Line. As I did mention, it's a podcast where we talk to industry leaders and we try to find out how they think corporates have a role to play in youth, especially in the society that we live in now. A lot of youth are going through a lot of stuff, and we're trying to get the answers through leaders like yourself. So I just want to start off by asking the question, when you started your journey into the role that you're in right now in Michelin, who are the mentors that got you to that place, and who was there supporting you throughout your whole journey? Because sometimes we find ourselves as youth not having people to support us during the whole journey. So can you please tell us who are the people that influenced you to be there, and how was the journey for yourself?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate for this opportunity. It's a wonderful thing to share because, I'm an ambassador to support youth, right? Whether it's professionally or personally, right? So with my journey, right? So the journey, it's a journey. It's not about a destination. Exactly that, right? So through that, it's a support from people around you. You would have colleagues, you'll have managers, you'll have people within the company and outside of the company. So having these people that your manager, and also yourself reflecting and feedbacks and things like that. And through feedbacks, you can look at improvements and having mentors. So currently, I was looking for a mentor who would be in line with what I'm all about, right? It's not about studying one thing. Yes. It's not, from the start, you keep changing, you keep evolving, because that's how the world is working.
Yes.
And adapting and moving forward. And for me, it's about a range of knowledge. Like I look at sustainability. Sustainability is not for only environment.
Yes.
People, it's not only for, where HR, even innovation. And a recent thing that I'm looking at is cybersecurity.
Yes.
Cybersecurity is for everyone. It's not an IT thing.
Yes.
So as I'm going through whatever I am doing, I look at, what are the gaps? And also looking at people in industry and outside of the industry. What are they doing as well? Yes. You're looking at industry leaders, because for me, having that consistent learning mindset, what is out there? What is the changes? And improving myself, and through reflection, where are the gaps? Having a vision board to give you direction, because you're running your own race.
Yes, it really is your own race. So I just wanted to find out now, navigating through the challenges now, I think a lot of youth is experiencing challenges. I mean, we have a 60% of unemployed youth under the age of 25 who maybe struggle with getting mentors, people who show them and guide them in a way of where they're going or which path to take. What role do you think that having that specific person takes in their life? Because I think you become confused, as you said, you start something and you think that's the thing and you don't want to try new things. So you think having mentors, and people in, I could say, high roles, like CEOs and people in yourself, do you think it's very influential, especially for the youth, to have people like that? Because I think we get lost most of the time.
I agree with you. It's important because, why reinvent the wheel? Because some of us have went through the journey. And let us share. So for myself, I beginning of this year, I signed up to be a mentor for Mangosa, right? Okay. And through that journey where we were trying to mentor, and it was the first time looking not a one-on-one, it was a group mentorship.
Yes.
And I think that's also a new, I don't know, I'm not sure whether it's a new concept, but it was something new to me, yes. Right? And I found that, when you have this group of mentors and you have a group of students, yes, it may not be one-on-one, but you allowing the students to, explain and, try and advise on their challenges that they're having, each one of them. And we're seeing as a group providing different solutions, even like saying, you know what, it is a journey.
Yes.
Be kind to yourself, that you're going to learn through this process. And sometimes, we notice that even with us, I mean, the now generation, right? They are wanting to try new things, and I celebrate them because that's what you need to do. Try new things, be open to new things, and like having these mentors to say, okay, I want to explore this. What is your thoughts on it? Have you tried to do this? And having that group of mentors, you're having people at different backgrounds and sharing their different ideas, their different journeys, their different experiences. And through that, we're supporting the youth, right? And I found that also we recently held a career day. That's also another thing where I found that also helps. More and more organizations should have these career days. In this career day, just to expand on it, we had about, in terms of the CV, what is relevant today? Because are the youth studying what's relevant? Because if you're studying something like today, tomorrow it can be outdated. And that's the idea that the youth need to know that I need to study something for the future. And also maybe skills of like project management, change management, where you'll see how AI is, cannot replace it. But they say that a person that's using AI can replace you, not AI.
Yeah, itself.
So it's like also being open to learning. And learning is not something where you have to have an official degree. You can go on YouTube. There's so much of free courses, learning from each other. Also, we shouldn't also, sometimes, through our careers, right, or through society and things like that, they classify, if you're an engineer, if you're a doctor, if you're an accountant. But it's more than that. There's also people who do hairdressing. I think having a skill, example like hairdressing, you will never go out of business, sort of thing.
Yes, you'll never.
Exactly. People need to constantly cut their hair. So it's a thing like, do not look down on different professions or, trying different things. And also looking at gigs, looking at side hustles. I think that's important to try different things and to drop the ego and say, okay, what else is there? And I think the most important thing is to collaborate. Finding collaborative platforms where you can collaborate. Like example, Empire Partner Foundation. I celebrate you guys. You're doing amazing work with so many youth.
I think, but though, touching on that topic, it's a mindset thing. Maybe it's a mindset thing, but then, it's one thing to say it's a mindset, but then finding out what sort of strategies you can come up with or mind shifts that help you to get to that point. So I want to find out from you, like personally, what sort of strategies or mindsets or mind shifts did you have yourself that helped you navigate through this whole thing to where you are today?
Okay, so the lifelong learning. Right, so I recently today I was having a talk with one of my colleagues, right? And I developed an app, and this app I developed it a few months ago, right? And because you're constantly learning new things, you may not work on that every day. So the assumption she had that I was an expert at it. And I said, I'm not an expert at anything. So my thing is, it's not about being an expert, because perfection is actually going, if you have this perfection mindset, you're not open to new things because you're waiting for things to be perfect. And I say, try and be kind to yourself to take the risk, right? And I'm not saying be a cowboy or cowgirl at it. I'm saying try new things. You're going to discern whether there's going to be a problem or not. But through it, try, and then you can pivot. Because you need to be open to learning new things. And that's what I think helps me. Because it is to learn and have that newness, creating the newness in whatever you do. And that's the mindset that I would have. And, I think maybe recently I would say, collaboration and network. Meet as many people as you can and learn from people, because we don't know everything.
It's very important, yes. It was very important. Thank you for sharing that. So now we want to move a bit to the corporate mandates in the changing society. Now, in your role in Michelin, I'd like to understand that you come at the crossroad where you face a lot of business operations and human impact. Now, given the socio-economic challenges that we face as a country, how can corporates now become a platform of employment, but then a platform, as you're saying, of mentorship and leading and giving opportunities to the youth?
So we also have a program where we invite interns for like maybe a year,
Yes.
and then they get exposure to different areas of the business. And I think they may not get at the level that they, and also wanting to learn. Because yes, as we're saying, we need to start from the bottom,
Yes.
learning through it. Because it's through having that opportunity to see that whether it's detailed or whether it's high level, to start somewhere, right? And I think we give the platform to allow youth to get exposed to different areas of the business, right? And then, the company also is partnering with an organization called Kingdom of Arrows. So we've invited them for a career day. Also, I'm planning to set up a mentorship with them.
Yes.
And also we've also donated so that to help them with the tech center. So the skills that the employees have, we can come to this tech center,
Yes.
and share these skills and see how we can benefit these youth or even adults who are unemployed.
Yes.
To see, and maybe even like supporting these organizations with things like gardening, right? And being there, and where you have employees within the company volunteering to help them with different areas of the NPO.
Yes.
That's where we're looking at.
Right. No, and I mean, that's a great initiative, because we need the corporate now to be a platform for us as the youth to come on and be like, we need you guys to help us. Not only just giving us opportunities, but as a guide. As I mentioned, a lot of you just get astray during the way, and like we just get confused, I'd like to say. So now, making leadership tangible and inclusive. My question on that is just, for many youth, leadership can seem very, what can I say, distant, and it feels like we are not in touch with our leaders. I mean, we're not understanding who they are, and they don't come to us and talk to us. So I want to know that how can young people in their communities start having these roles, or start having these communities where they feel like, the leaders and the mentors are within them and are part of them, instead of it being distant, where yes, you are here talking to us today, but then we might not see you next week, and we feel like you might have excluded us from this whole leadership platform that you might be offering. So how do you think young people can start within their own communities to rise up and actually show initiative in this point?
Okay, that's a good question, right? And I hear you,
Yes.
because sometimes it can be a tick box exercise.
It is.
But for me, it's not, right? Because I feel like I want to give back, right? I want to make a difference, whether it's volunteering, support, sharing, being impactful, and adding value, because that's what I am about, right? And I understand where some leadership could feel like, unapproachable.
Really?
But I think it is the case of the way we approach it, right? The way we speak to these leaders,
Yes.
right? In the sense that that in a collaborative way, saying what can I bring to the table, right? How can I support the leaders, and understanding that where we see the need, where we see the gap.
Yes.
Because people tend to be open to seeing what value can you add,
Yes.
right? And then the leaders see, okay, how can I help you? And I think it's important to have this collaborative thing. And I'm not saying it's always going to work.
Yes.
I mean, let's be honest, right, about that.
Yes.
But there's leaders who are true to the cause,
Yes.
right? That want to support and help and want to listen.
Yes.
And yes, they are busy with so many different things. But what I invite the youth is to say, what can I bring to the table?
Yes.
Try and empower themselves to learn and see where the gaps are and how can they benefit in that.
Truly, no. I mean, that's a very valid point. I mean, we need to ask ourselves also as the youth. I mean, we can't just sit down and expect things to come to us on a silver platter. I mean, you're very right on that one. Now, my last question as we close up is, I basically just want to ask, what are the key or few words of advice you'd give? I mean, we have a youth that's very hungry, yes, but then also the bits of, I think, gaps in the way at which we approach things, or maybe the way we understand, and maybe not feeling motivated at times. So I just want to ask, what are the few words you could give like the youth to say, guys, we can get there, and as you said, it might not go smooth in the beginning. I mean, there are hurdles along the way. So we just want to know, what are the few words of advice you'd give to someone who's sitting there and maybe thinking this whole leadership, innovation, mentorship thing in these corporates or in any other level is not working? What are the words you'd say to them to give them that hope, maybe that things will come around? It's just hard work and grind.
Yeah, I know you're saying hard work. Let's
Yes.
say smart. Let's be
Yes.
smart about it,
Okay,
right?
okay.
Because we're always thinking, and now generation is about quick fixes, the instant thing, right? So I'm saying smart. Why am I saying smart? I'm saying smart because we need to choose and focus.
Yes.
Because there's so much happening, right? And I think also it's a case of starting with what we have, because we always feel that we don't have, right?
resources, yes.
Exactly. And we need to see within, it starts from home. What can I do within the home?
Yes.
And it can be kindness. It doesn't necessarily have to be where I have to buy something. We can see how can we volunteer? How can we, see where the gaps are. I think that's where we need to do, because we're doing so many things, right?
Yes.
And it's choose and focus. I think that's where I would say that. And it's also an advice to myself.
Yeah.
Choose and focus. When you choose and focus and you see, okay, is this working for me? Is it not? What else can I do? And what is in my control? Because sometimes we're always trying to change the world.
Yes.
And the world starts with me. And it starts from within. Because, I don't know whether you must have watched this Inside Out.
Yes,
Because
yes,
it starts with me, with controlling who I am and empowering myself. So I need to empower myself. I need to see what's available to me and what can I use. And as I said, be smart about it. And we know what smart means, right?
Yes.
You
I'd
know-
like to think we do.
Hey.
I would like to think we do. I'm not sure. Maybe people don't know what smart is.
And that's the thing, like being where we need to be strategic, measurable, strategy, like time bound and things like that.
Yes.
Because if something is not working for us, we need to pivot. We need to constantly try. And my thing is to have that newness. And I know this may not be, and it's reflection on the self as well,
yes.
is most important reflection on the self, as I said, inside out. Like the movie Inside Out, right? It starts with me and reflecting on myself and seeing and having this vision board, right? And saying, okay, this is what I want to do. And even if I don't achieve it, right? As we say, look at the universe, and maybe I'll land on the sky. But also, things may not be, understand your journey. I am where I need to be, but be present. Another thing as well is to be present, because I'm so busy with so much of distraction.
Yes.
There's a lot of distraction, and it's time to just take time to do nothing. And meditation is another powerful thing.
Yes.
Right? Through meditation, and I don't know whether I can say this, but for me, it's connecting to the source,
Yes.
right? And because you have this power of the source, you are able to feel like you're limitless.
Limitless. Thank you so much, Prebashni, for your time. Thank you for talking to us. I mean, you said a lot of key things when it comes to youth, and I like to think everyone who's watching will take something from this and actually implement it. Thank you so much to your company, Michelin, for the amazing work they do, in the career days that you've hosted, and the whole opportunities you give the youth. So thank you so much for your time, and we hope to see you again on the platform.
Thank you so much
Thank
for a
you so
wonderful
much.
experience. Thank
Thank
you. I
you.
really appreciate that.
Thank you so much. No
To
problem.
give back. Thank you.
That's a wrap on today's episode with Prebashni Govender. Her story shows that real leadership is about action and not position. To all our young listeners, your journey starts now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time. Cheers.